Hello my dear friends and welcome back to another Star Wars news update. In today's video we have some really amazing news for the Book of Boba Fett. LRM Online have confirmed that Cad Bane from the Clone Wars and more recently the Bad Batch is going to appear this December for the first time in live action in the Book of Boba Fett. LRM Online revealed this in a recent live stream where they spoke about the significance of this cameo and what it means on the whole. It's reported that Robert Rodriguez, who's the showrunner for the series, wanted to create a live action show with prequels and original trilogy fans in mind. Earlier this year, LRM also reported that we will be seeing Bossk in the Book of Boba Fett, but in the more recent live stream, as well as Cad Bane, they also teased that we could see Zuckuss and Forlom as well, making the series very bounty hunter heavy. As for Cad Bane, this is really big news for all fans of the animated shows, and they also spoke about how the Bad Batch set up his live action debut. His fight with Fennec Shand on Borovio set up the perfect precedence for how the two know each other by the time of post episode 6. LRM Online also commented that Cad Bane's head plate damage suggests that a deleted arc from the Clone Wars did in fact happen, and his confrontation with Boba in the Book of Boba Fett is going to be a rematch, and one of great magnitude. Now, the appearance of Cad Bane is more evidence of how Lucasfilm want to connect the upcoming live-action shows to the animated ones. And let's be real here guys, live-action Cad Bane sounds absolutely epic. He's going to be menacing with a tremendous physical presence when he squares up against Boba. Something I do wonder about is if we're going to see Todo 360. You can't have Cad Bane without his cute and quirky little droid. Hopefully Todo makes his live-action debut as well, and is still voiced by Seth Green. Interestingly enough, many months ago I made a speculation video exploring why I think Cad Bane almost has to appear in the Book of Boba Fett, and it seems like my prediction was correct. So far, LRM Online have been spot on with recent projects, and they seem very certain of this leak. Also my dear friends, before I go, we do have a lot of Star Wars news coming over the next few weeks. In the next few days we should be getting more from Obi-Wan Kenobi because Star Wars Newsnet have said that they do have more behind the scenes of Darth Vader to show us. So now my dear friends, we're going to stay on the subject of the Book of Boba Fett and talk about the various other cameos that we're likely to see. I made a video at the start of this year about all of the characters that we're likely to see in the Book of Boba Fett. But now that we're closer than ever to the release date and we know so much more about the series, I thought I would shed some new insight on the matter. Given Lucasfilm's willingness to provide some meaningful fan service in The Mandalorian and its spin-offs, I wouldn't be surprised if Cad Bane and Bossk are just two of many characters that are going to cameo in the series. With the return of Bossk in live action, we could be getting some more original trilogy bounty hunters, as well as characters that Boba has run into in the War of the Bounty Hunters Marvel comics. For all we know, we might see all of the surviving bounty hunters from The Empire Strikes Back, and that would be one hell of a reunion. Apart from those, I think another likely candidate is Embo. Embo was a Kyoso bounty hunter who we first saw in the Clone Wars Season 2, Episode 17. This bounty hunter lived during the era of the Clone Wars. Embo carried a bowcaster and wore a large-rimmed circular hat, which he used as a weapon or a shield. Embo was known to work as part of Suji's band of bounty hunters, though on his own he was known to be one of the most skilled bounty hunters of his time. And of course he had an awesome starship which was called the Guillotine. Much later on in the timeline, after the Battle of Jakku, Embo received funding from the New Republic, but when it ran out, he lived as a farmer on Felucia. Embo could very easily tie into the Book of Boba Fett, and I can't imagine there would be much strong opposition from fans, given the fact that he was also in the aftermath novel Empire's End, where Cobb Vanth first debuted. Embo is the perfect candidate to make his way into Boba Fett's story. Now speaking of Cobb Vanth, he's also very likely to appear. I would say given his history with Boba's armour, as we saw in Empire's End and Chapter 9 of The Mandalorian, Timothy Oliphant's character is one of the more obvious choices for the show. Across the Aftermath novel and The Mandalorian, Cobb Vanth has become one of my favourite characters in the franchise. Outside of the realm of bounty hunters, there's also been a lot of talk about maybe even seeing Luke Skywalker. The two characters have a rocky history together, and Boba would not have forgotten that it was Luke Skywalker and Han Solo that caused him to fall into the Sarlacc pit. If the show is going to be a revenge hit list, as some people have speculated, Luke Skywalker might be high on Boba's list. If Boba Fett does confront him, he'll quickly recognise Grogu, who's currently training with Luke, and he might even back down. After all, Boba helped the rescue mission in Chapter 16, but did not physically board Moff Gideon's ship, to help take out the Dark Troopers. So that meeting, if it happens, is going to be very interesting. To add to this, original trilogy fans have wanted a Luke Skywalker Boba Fett confrontation ever since the 1978 holiday special. Let's just hope that it actually happens. Next up is something I've been asked a lot of questions about, and that, my friends, is Omega, and if there's any chance that we will see her in the Book of Boba Fett. While it might seem like an obvious addition to some given her popularity right now, and the fact that she's Boba's sister, I think it's too soon. We don't know what becomes of Omega after the Empire's rise, and since the Book of Boba Fett takes place 28 years later, it would reveal too much about what she becomes in her middle age, which would spoil the Bad Batch Season 2 and the direction her character takes later. If she is in the Book of Boba Fett, we're going to find out the outcome of her life before even discovering what she became. I've always thought it's best to give us another couple of seasons of the Bad Batch before exploring Omega in live action further down the timeline. The show is also going to give us Wookiees, maybe even Black Coruscantan, and we're also going to see Gamorreans, which are part of Jabba's palace. Recently, we also learned that Dave Filoni's character Trapper Wolf might make a cameo or two. This is after pins of his character were made for the crew of the Book of Boba Fett. The show is going to be all killer no filler, and I can tell you right now that we are in for an amazing Christmas treat. Before I go, my dear Megalorians, I want to plug in the fact that I have some new merch. Apart from the wide array of t-shirts that you can get, which include the Darkside Meg shirt, the Darth Plagueis quote shirt, my Mando shirts, and much more, I now have an exclusive Mega Mug. The idea was courtesy of Star Wars Santa, who's a good friend of this channel, and it's now made itself manifest. So drink your hot beverages or even your cold ones in a Mega Mug, which comes in a variety of 15 colours. Use the code GIMMEMUG for 15% off the mugs, as well as the entire merch store. The link is down there in the description down below, but otherwise, my dear friends, I'm Star Wars Meg, wishing you all a phenomenal rest of the day, no matter where you dwell in the galaxy. Have a good one.